My friends, it has been quite some journey since the start of my campaign for the 44th Council District special election. Whether petitioning in the middle of blizzards, or making the case for republicanism in a debate in Borough Park, or even heading to the New York State Appellate Court. Everyone who worked on this campaign has learned a great deal, and we have accomplished much in the course of Brooklyn politics. And how did we do this? Was it with an overflowing campaign war chest? Was it with the paid staffers of other elected officials? Was it with a swarm of endorsements from the same old politicians? The answer is a resounding no to all of these. We had our impact precisely because none of these elements were a part of this campaign. Rather, I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to the many Brooklyn young Republicans, grassroots Republican leaders, and concerned citizen activists who freely and without any compensation sacrificed a lot of time, money, and energy for this campaign and the common sense principles of good government that it represented. Now, even though we ran into the obstacles that we did, this is just the beginning. People in Brooklyn and around the country are fed up with the same old politics that has gotten us to this point. And that includes Republicans as much as it does Democrats. It is sad for me to say to you that yes, Republican leaders and Republican elected officials, including here in Brooklyn, have been colluding with and supporting Democratic candidates in exchange for a host of personal political paybacks that only serve to undermine our common and principled cause. For instance, we now have a lifelong Democrat suddenly turned Republican gubernatorial candidate, Steve Levy, entering the Republican primary at the behest of our own Republican state chairman and a number of the state party's vice chairs. Mr. Levy owes his recent political successes to such collusion that has allowed him to seek re-election to the Suffolk County Executive's office without any competition on the Democratic, Republican, Conservative, Independent, and working families lines. And now he wants to become our governor in much the same fashion. We are now at a point where the proverbial smoke-filled backroom deal is the mere tip of the iceberg of what plagues our government in New York. The difference now is that our fellow Republicans and many of our fellow citizens are finally willing to do something about it. It is time for us to take back our party and the public offices which it seeks to fill. Thanks to independent grassroots organizations like ours, we are on the cusp of a new era in politics, one that I earnestly hope will resurrect the powerful American instinct of self-governance and self-determination. You see that with the Tea Party movement and other grassroots conservative organizations, but most of all, this movement inspires the greatest traditions of our party and our club here in Brooklyn. Over 100 years ago, the New York Times discussed the impact of the Brooklyn Young Republican Club and the movement it represented. They said, I quote, "We shall never have a decent city government in New York till we get together and keep together such a body of young Republicans who, neither holding nor desiring office, are willing to take their share of the active work of politics simply for the public good. The example of Brooklyn stands as a challenge and a stimulus to young Republicans throughout the state to prove that the American instinct of self-government is not less vital, nor the American hatred of political despotism less intense than it was when the institutions were founded which we are called on to maintain. I ask those of you frustrated and fed up with all what we are seeing to join us. Visit us online at brooklynYR.com and be a part of our movement. We still have much more to accomplish in the weeks and months ahead, but together, I know we can resurrect the soul of our party and restore government to the people. Thank you, and I'm confident that I will be seeing you along the way.